16 update for Himeko Sutori. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. I'm not feeling so great right now, but I really wanted to get this done today because we have a lot to show you. First, I'd like to point out the track that we're listening to. It's a work in progress by Kevin Wan. He's not entirely satisfied with it yet, so we're going to give him a little bit more time to work on it before we release the entire track, but I hope that you're as excited to hear the rest of it as I am. For now, let's take a look at some of the gameplay features that we've introduced since our last update. In this video so far, we've loaded the test level, and then we've checked out the character sheet for our main character. We optimized her equipment, more on that later, and now we're going into battle. As you can see, we have some messages here telling us that there are no lances ready to deploy. That means we need to go create some lances, and on the way we get a look at a bug in Himeko Story as we see what I call the box, where characters go when they are not in use. There's a long and complicated reason for why the camera switches there, but we're going to ignore that for right now. So we have created one lance containing one character, and we are now taking that lance into battle. Manually placing your lances, or squads, ended up being a really big change for Himeko Story. The class representing the player contains an array called squads that's a reference to all of the squads that the player has. The game used to play out under the hood with the game finding the next available squad that has not yet taken an action. Then it would switch the turn to that squad, and then after that squad takes its action, onto the next squad. That worked out pretty well, but now, not every squad necessarily has to be deployed. And also, to check to see whether the battle is over, it checks to see how many squads remain. That would break the game because you didn't necessarily have all of your squads deployed. So I had to create a new array called deployed squads, and then everywhere in the game that I had a reference to squads, I had to ask myself, am I really referring to the list of all of the squads, or only the squads that are in the battle? Anyway, with that working now, we're going to take a closer look at the Optimize button on the character sheet. You can see that I've added lots of new items to the game, and each one of these items gives your characters different stat bonuses. Soon I'm going to add a display that will show you what the stat changes will be for each item, but instead of going through each item individually, you can now click on an Optimize button that will optimize your character for either his or her main ability or for defense. Soon it will also work for leadership. It will also find out which combination of items is best, whether it's a one-handed weapon and an offhand item, or a two-handed weapon. The Optimize button does not yet test to see whether a dual-wielding option is best for your character, and I might just leave that to the player. So here, the Optimize function found the most powerful armor for our character, which is our Tier 6 armor, which is very overpowered for this particular battle. It also decided that a two-handed axe is more powerful than the other options available. As you can see, our equipment is overpowered for this battle, as the stat bonuses from the armor and the bracers are causing us to deal a lot of damage, and the damage reduction from that armor is causing us to not take very much damage in return. We are going to go ahead and skip forward to a different playtest where we show you the other options that are available to us. We have once again changed this character's class to a barbarian, and the Optimize button finds the same loadout that we had before. However, if we optimize for defense, the game now finds the best defensive combination of equipment for us, including the most powerful shield that we have, which it pairs with a one-handed axe that is less powerful than the two-handed axe that we had before. However, for this particular playthrough, I'm going to have this character dual-wield axes. I also equipped her with an accessory that increases the attack power of her offhand attack. Let's put her into a lance and then start the battle, and let's see how she does. We'll just skip the video forward to where the fight actually starts. Unfortunately, you cannot see the item in her offhand because this particular armor sprite has a cape covering the offhand. The number of sprite layers that it would have taken to show the weapon under the cape would have just been too many, and it would have gotten too unwieldy. So for other armor sprites that do not have a cape covering the offhand, you'll be able to see whether your character has an item in his or her offhand. But here, we can see that the dual-wielding attacks are working. Even with the bonus that the ring gives to her offhand attack, her second attack still does less damage than her first. This is to be expected. By getting more bonuses to your offhand damage, whether by equipping special items or by leveling as a rogue, you can increase your offhand damage, but it will never do more than your main hand. That's most of what I wanted to show you this month. Himeko Story is still under development, we're still making progress, and very soon I'm going to have some big news for you that's going to mean that a lot more development is going to get done a lot faster, but I'll wait to tell you the big news later. Thank you for watching.